everybody, gameguywoopwoop, and welcome to the first of the Pokemon Black and White analysis videos. Now, this is an analysis video, but it's not focusing on any Pokemon in particular. First off, I'm just going to be giving you a rundown of the basics of Pokemon, because before you start learning about the Pokemon, you need to know the basics of them. Their stats, their natures, abilities, different moves. So first off, we're going to be taking a look at stats, short for statistics. The stats refer to the numerical values of every field in regards to individual Pokemon. Now, the most basic stat is HP, or hit points, which determine how many, which it determines how much damage a Pokemon can take before they faint. Um, at the moment, Blissey has the highest HP stat among all the Pokemon in the game. Out of all five generations, she has a base HP of 255. The average HP stat is 68 for all Pokemon, and for all fully evolved Pokemon, it's an average of 80. Now, if a Pokemon has more than half of their HP, the color of their HP bar seen in the top right corner of the screen, if you're for your opponent, is in the top left corner of the screen. If their HP is more than half, then the color is green. If it's between half or more than one-fourth, then it's yellow. And if it's less than one-fourth, it's red, and you'll hear a beeping sound. If you're playing Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, or any game before that, in Pokemon Black and White, the music will change. The next stat is attack stat. The attack stat will determine how much damage a Pokemon can deal using a physical move. Physical moves are moves that make physical contact, such as Tackle and Vine Whip. Currently, the Pokemon with the highest attack stat is Deoxys, with a base of 180. Well, yes. Rampardos has the highest out of non-legendaries, with 165. The average attack stat for all Pokemon is 75, and for all fully evolved Pokemon is at an average of 90. The defense stat determines how much damage a Pokemon receives when it's hit with a physical move. And this is probably pretty obvious to most people, but Shuckle has the highest defense among all Pokemon with a base of with a base of 230. The average defense stat for all Pokemon is 70, and the average for all fully evolved is 83. Excuse me. The special stat, the special stat only focused on the first generation, so I actually won't focus on that. I'm just going to move into special attack and special defense, because the special stat was split up in Generation 2 and onwards. After Generation 2, it's actually divided further into IVs and EVs, which I will go into more detail in a later video. Now, as I was saying, the special attack will determine how much damage a Pokemon can deal using a special move. Special moves are moves that most of the time don't make contact, such as Water Gun or Flamethrower, but sometimes a special move can deal physical damage. Take Size Shock, for example. It's classified as a special type move, but it does physical damage. So Size Shock will be more determined on the attack stat rather than the special defense stat, I believe. Anyway, currently Deoxys holds the highest. Deoxys, in its attack form, holds the highest special attack stat among Pokemon with 180. But for non-legendary Pokemon, Chandelure has the highest special attack stat at 145. It would be a good idea to add a Chandelure to your team, because they do have very high special attack, and they have a very wide move pool, so you can teach them quite a variety of moves. Of non-event Pokemon, Mewtwo has the highest special attack stat with a base of 154. The average special attack stat is 69 for all Pokemon, and the average for all fully evolved Pokemon is 83. And special defense determines how much damage a Pokemon receives when hit by a special move. Shuckle, yet again, holds the highest special defense stat with 230 as a base. The average special defense is the exact same as special attack. And last but certainly not least is the speed stat. The speed stat will determine how quickly a Pokemon will move in battle. Pokemon with higher speed will make a move before ones with lower speed under normal conditions. Deoxys speed form holds the high speed, and with a base of 180. And Ninjask, out of non-legendaries, has a high speed with a base of 160. The average speed stat is 66, and the average for all fully evolved is 78. Now, there are also two in-battle stats that you cannot, that are not really set for Pokemon. Well, in battle they are set and they decrease depending on what moves your opponent uses or what you use. Um, First off is the evasion stat. The evasion stat will determine the chance that an opponent's move will miss. Now, at the start of a battle, the initial value is 100%, but if it's decreased below 100% with a move such as Sweet Scent, then your opponent, the opposing Pokemon has a better chance of connecting its move. If it's increased above 100% with a move like Double Team, then the opposing Pokemon will have a harder time connecting the moves. In Generation 1, it was just called Evade. And the other stat is Accuracy. This determines the percent chance an attacker's move will hit. As for Evasion, the initial value is 100%. Also, in Pokemon XD, you could raise a Pokemon's accuracy by calling them. Anyway, the following formula will tell what the probability is that a move will hit. P equals A times base times accuracy over evasion. A times base is the base accuracy of the move. For example, a base accuracy of 95 would be counted as 0.95, so that's in its decimal form. And evasion is the current evasion stat. So if you were to lower the evasion stat by, let's say, one stage, then it would be lowered to 0.8. Now, if P is greater than 1, then the move is going to be sure to hit. Now, if it's a 2-on-2 battle, it's possible for a move that hits 2 or 3 targets to miss some of the targets and still hit others. The probabilities for that are calculated individually for each move. Now, for the determination of the stats. We'll start out with base stats. A Pokemon's base stats will most often have the greatest influence over any stats at any level. Now, this is disregarding individual values, effort values, which is IV and EV respectively, their nature, and their level 100 Pokemon stats in attack, defense, speed, special attack, and special defense will be exactly 5 more than double its base stats in each. So let me repeat that in case you didn't understand. Not including individual values, effort values, and their nature, any Pokemon at level 100, their stats in attack, defense, speed, special attack, and special defense will always be exactly 5 more than double its base stats in each. The HP stat will always be 110 plus double the base stat, except for Shedinja, because Shedinja always has just 1 hit point. Now for level. When a Pokemon grows a level, its stats will increase. Every time a level is gained, not including the nature, the stats will increase by 1/50th of the base stat value and 1/100th of the combined individual value and effort value. So this means that it is impossible through leveling up for a Pokemon to ever lose points in a stat, unless it evolves into a Pokemon with a lower base stat value for that specific stat. So take Shelmet, for example. When Shelmet evolves into a Selgor, its base defense and special defense stats will decrease. And I believe Carablast, when it evolves into Escavalier, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, one of its base stats decrease, but I can't really remember. And Natures will enhance the growth of one stat while decreasing the growth of another one. So after all other calculations in math are finished, the stat that the nature enhances will be 110% of what it would be without the nature, and the stat hindered will be 90% of its normal value. But there are a few natures that make it so where no stats are increased or decreased, such as a docile nature. Now I won't go into detail, but I'll just tell you a little bit about them. Individual values can cause 2 Pokemon of the same species to have different stats, but there are some differentiations in manners depending on what generation you're playing. I'll get into detail about that in a different video. And effort values are what causes a trained Pokemon to have higher stats than an untrained Pokemon at the same level. For every 4 EVs gained, or effort values, a level 100 Pokemon will have 1 extra point in its stats. The variance of stats caused by EVs reaches a maximum of 63 points at level 100, since a Pokemon can gain a maximum of 255 effort values in just one stat. Yet again, I will go more into detail in a later video. So that's pretty much. Oh wait, no, I still have one more thing to talk about. A few people might not know exactly what the game means, like when your accuracy or attack or defense falls. So I'll let you know. There are stages. When a status move is used that is meant to increase or decrease a stat of an in-use party or foe Pokemon, it will be measured by fractions. So let's take Tail Whip for example. Tail Whip would lower your defense stat. Whenever a stat is lower, it is lowered by 1 stage. When your attack, special defense, and speed stats are lowered by 1 stage, um, they will be 2/3 of what they originally were, or 67%. So Tail Whip lowers your defense to 2/3 of it, or 67% of your defense stat. Or let's take Workup for example, which increases attack or special attack by 1 stage. When Workup is used, it increases your attack and special attack by 1 1/2, or 150% of your base stat. So you'll obviously do more damage. Now, the calculations are different for accuracy and evasion. If accuracy or evasion is lowered 1 stage, it will be 3/4 or 75% of what it originally was, because it always starts at 100% at the beginning of battle, so it will be lowered to 75%. If it's raised, however, it will be 1 1/3 or 133% chance of either connecting if it's accuracy or evading if it's evasion. So yes, that's pretty much it for stats. There are also formulas that you can use to precisely calculate um, what the stats are going to be. If you would like to know exactly what those formulas are, just let me know and I will give them to you. But be warned, the formulas are fairly difficult to solve. They're um, they're probably ninth to 12th grade formulas, and they're not that easy to solve. But if you're really good at math and you really would like to know precisely what it is, just let me know and I can tell you where to find it. So, thank you for watching this video. I hope it helped you, and see you guys next time.